Hey, Loco Grinders, welcome to another edition of the Loco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Got Justin Jarrett from Loco Sports, the Dean of Lowcountry Officials, George Dixon, and Hulkamania, Hulk Hagen, Alex Hagen from Bridges Prep. We'll see who else pops in tonight for this edition of the Loco Grind because we are in it. We're in the thick of it now, boys. The season is underway. First huge event, the first major of the season, I guess you would say for us, the Lowco Championships yesterday at Hilton Head Island High School. Great day of wrestling, great 2 days really. Friday night JV, it was awesome to see the number of kids out there, just the depth that is starting to cultivate across the Lowcountry. And then Saturday was terrific. So how you doing, gentlemen? It's good to be back.
It's good.
Well, like you said, we're in elbow deep already, so time to get busy.
Elbow deep.
I was
good.
today. I had to get some rest from 2 days of just straight coaching.
You ain't kidding.
Oh, poor fellas. I've been repping since Monday. I did Monday through Saturday this week. I want to hear about your 2 day stint. So
I did Monday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday of coaching. So
okay.
Well, I guess not Thursday because we ended up getting that canceled, but I was planning on it. But no, we've been at it this week, boys. We've been at it. It's been a long week. I crashed out on the couch a little bit earlier for a while, but yesterday was fun. The depth at least continues to grow. I don't know if you can say like where the quality is this year versus last year or anything at this point, but there's a lot of quality wrestling happening. There's a lot more kids who are getting their feet in under them and learning the sport. And it's great to see. The one thing that really jumped out to me was Friday night at the JV, the 150-pound class had like 15 kids in the JV bracket, which is crazy work, but good stuff yesterday.
Yeah, I think 106 had like 3 guys in it.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, 113 varsity only had 3 guys in it even. And I'm sure
we got to recruit more little people, y'all. We got to recruit more little people.
Man. It's hard to find tough small kids.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But we're having struggles at the bottom and the top at McCracken. We need the smallest kid in the school and the biggest kid in the school to get on the wrestling mat tomorrow after school. We'll get 12 free points in most of our duels if we can just get the smallest kid and the biggest kid in the school out on the wrestling mat.
We're picking up another small one. It was one of our former wrestlers. Dan saw him in Walmart tonight. He was like, "Hey, you're coming back, right?" And he's like, "I'll go to Hagen tomorrow and weigh in." So
we allegedly have an 80-pounder coming too, but he'll be the second alleged 80-pounder.
No, we got an 80-pounder. I was surprised that we found one for middle school.
It's nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
We got prospects.
Yeah, we had the one, and he was supposed to come out, and he's a football kid, and he lasted for about a practice and didn't come back.
That's been known to happen.
Yeah. Tough sport. It's not for everybody. Yeah.
Not for everybody. What moves were we teaching that day? Did we make him the dummy on the fireman's carry his first day or something? What do we do?
Returns or something.
Well, you're getting some love over here, Hagen. Jimmy Sweet loves you, and so does Sean Bignell. He said he and Jimmy do. So you're getting some love. But takeaways from yesterday, a couple of things to start with. May River is still here.
So top dog pretty much.
Yeah, May River's still here. We on the first episode of the season we talked about Houston Rudisil's decision to not wrestle for the school this season. Just clarify, he's still wrestling. He's not wrestling for the school. He's still training and he's still going to go compete. But obviously you'd love to have him in there, but it's not like they're lacking for talent in that roster. And I'm sure they still got some guys moving weights around to make it even better. But every time you looked up, there was a May River guy in the finals that seemed like, would they have 9 out of 14? So pretty good day for those guys. Pals.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Machine over there.
That's pretty solid work. I know Bluffton Middle School and Bluffton High, they've got good numbers. So They're building, and they should be coming sometime soon. I know you guys at Bridges, you've got really good numbers coming up through as well.
Oh yeah, we got like 27 middle schoolers. So
Dan, also you.
Dan's here. I've been trying to get him on. He's camera shy, so
yeah, Big Dan.
He'd just rather send me inappropriate pictures on my phone while I'm doing the show. So like
welcome to the club. I get so many texts trying to distract me while I'm doing my show. It's quite a thing. 6 champs for the Sharks: Blake Butler at 157, Josh Echeverria at 190, Liam Engblom at 126, Marcus Folk at 120, and I want to talk about him a little bit. Ryan Seaman at 106, and Thomas Bro at 144. Folk to me, and I'll let you guys chime in with others, but Folk was the like most pleasant surprise, biggest not upset, but like opportunity gainer. Like he took advantage of I saw him before the finals, and I said, hey man, you got a great opportunity going against Bryce Stevenson, who is a hammer for Hilton Head, really good kid. And he took advantage. He got a win in that match, that was one that when I looked through the brackets, like, ooh, this would be a good final. I want to see how this goes. Folk has been a kid that over the last couple of years, I've been incredibly impressed with his growth. I remember seeing him at the Shark Invitational 2 years ago, lose a tough match. And the first time I saw him wrestle, and I just watched him fight his tail off. And I was like, hey man, like that was an awesome match. You're going to be good. And he was hurting, of course, in the moment, but I was like, dude, like you really got something. And he's dug in, and to see him where he is now is really good. So love Marcus Falca. Who were some other guys for you that jumped out as top performers?
You talk about high school for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Our 106er for dropping from like 114 down to like 106 to the day of. He was like 107 like an hour before. He got on there 106. I didn't think he was going to do it, and then he made it to the finals. I think it was the finals. He made it to the finals.
Yeah, Tuttle.
Yeah, he beat Skittles. That's his nickname.
Skittles. Oh, I like that. Yeah, he lost to Ryan Seaman in the finals, which Ryan is another one that, man, he looked good yesterday.
Yeah, he did. No, he got the nickname because he was eating skit the first practice he came out to. He had some Skittles in his pocket. He was popping them while I was like teaching him moves, and I was like, "What are you doing over there?" And he's like, "Nothing." He had a whoopee cushion and a balloon in his pocket. I was
why's it always the 106 pounders that can't stop eating candy during practice? You'd think it'd be the big boys, but it's always the little ones.
I was like, "Are you training for clown school? Why do you have a whoopee cushion in your pocket?"
Our sport attracts all kinds, man. Some of the
it takes all kinds.
That's a good call on Tuttle. Always good to have a good 106, man. That's a good place.
Chavez's match. That one I was looking forward to because he never wrestled that kid from Buford. I can't remember the kid's name right now.
Priester?
Yeah, they had. All right, so at state last year, they were grappling with each other, just warming up before the tournament started at state. I'm like, Chavez, you wrestled that kid? He's like, no. And like, I was looking forward to that because they had never wrestled before until they got in the finals. And Chavez got the win. It was a close match though. His knee started acting up. He's got kind of a bad knee right now. He's kind of nursing it, but he pulled off the win. So he's 2-time Lowco champion now.
Yeah. Did you see him? I could be mistaken, but I'm fairly certain that he was trying to run a spladle on Priester.
No, Dan would not allow that.
Now, here's what I'm saying. Priester shot in on a good single, and he went to his hip, and I swear he had his leg threaded, and he was.
I remember that. Yeah,
I swear he had his right leg threaded, and he was looking for it. And he couldn't get it, but I swear he was trying for it.
I can't say I've ever seen that with a heavyweight.
If he got it, it was going to be amazing, dude. But I promise you, he had that leg threaded. He was going for it. Yeah. He also then picked up a single.
Oh, yeah. He had that leg way up there, man.
I was impressed with Priester's athleticism and flexibility to be able to keep his feet on that. That was unreal for a man of that size.
Exactly.
Unreal. But that was a really good match.
Another guy that I really like that we have, he just started last year. He was a basketball guy for his freshman and sophomore year. It's AJ Ollie Jenkins.
Yep.
Yeah, he got fourth at state in his first year wrestling, and now he's grinding it out, trying to get it. He got first at Lowco, so see how he does. I think he'll do pretty good.
Also, a couple other shout outs from the champs. We'll go through all the champs, I guess. Ryan Seaman from May River took the 106 title. Then it was Eli Garcia, who we had at McCracken last year from Bluffton, won the round robin in 113. He looked good doing it too. Marcus Folk at 120, Liam Engblom from May River at 126. Cole Sowers, freshman from Hilton Head, sophomore? Freshman?
No, I think he's a freshman.
Yeah, freshman.
Yeah.
Middle school last year. Yeah. Freshman from Hilton Head. That's a great job by him to win at 132. Ethan Fleming from Hilton Head at 138. Thomas Moreau from May River at 144. Nate Najjar from Battery Creek in a good match. I mean, he got a pen, but that was a good matchup with Trevor Jones. Jones is a stud. Your guy. Blake Butler from May River at 57. Gabe Fulton from Bluffton at 65. That was a good match with Leandro Larinaga. Ali Jenkins from Bridges with the title at 175. Josh Echeverria from May River at 190. Colton Freeman from Beaufort at 215. Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Former Skeeza champion.
That's right. And hasn't wrestled a competitive match in more or less 2 years, right?
Because he went down in football. He got hurt in football.
Got hurt last year and missed all last season, but has been training at Reverence, getting it back on track, and to go out and win it, that was impressive. And then Big Jerry, at 285. So some really good matches in the finals, some really strong individual performances from guys we expected it from, and then a couple of guys that are kind of the future, the freshmen that are making noise. So good to see, man. Good stuff. Who else stands out?
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see any of those and have a whole lot of input on this one. So you guys keep throwing them out. I'm gonna keep listening in.
Where were you at, George? You were up at Stratford.
Yeah, I was up at the Stratford Knights, the Nightmare Duels. So Ashley Ridge was really the strong team there, and they kind of, I won't say walked through it, but it was they were the top team for sure. Stratford looked good as well, and then the other teams just didn't have full lineups. They were missing 3 to 4 kids per team. So I had one duel that I only had 7 matches because they just didn't match up where they had holes. So one had 4 and one had 3 missing, so they only got in 7 actual matches. But the wrestling was pretty fair. It wasn't terrible. So I think Beaufort maybe or Bluffton, one of those two was supposed to come up, and they actually backed out on Friday. And so there was they were missing a team. It was supposed to be 8. They only had 7 teams there. So
somebody forgot about the Lowcountry Championships when they.
I'm guessing, they double booked themselves, and so they stayed close to home.
Yeah, that's what I did. Then like a month ago, I was like, wait, this is Lowco Championships. We're not going to that. Sorry. But I think that was their first year doing it, wasn't it?
The Nightmare Duels? No, I think they'd done it one other year last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was year 2.
He reached out to me by email, and I've never heard of them. So, but then again, I'm from Georgia, so I'm still learning the geography in the schools.
Yeah, it's a relatively new tournament, but Stratford's been around forever. So.
Oh yeah. I would also say another pleasant surprise was just Beaufort in general. That I wasn't kind of sure what to expect from them this year, but they came out really strong. And going into the finals, they were second behind May River in the team standings. Ended up third, sliding behind Bluffton, but really good showing for them. I think Coach Peeler he'll be the first to tell you, like, he's not an expert on wrestling per se, you know, but what he is a really energetic coach, and he understands how to coach, and he's attracted a bunch of kids out, the right kinds of kids, and he's put some people around him to teach them the wrestling, and they've got a good group of kids who really impressed me. Obviously, Colton Freeman elevates your room right away.
They bumped McKnight up, but I'm not sure why. They bumped him like weight class up or something. He didn't wrestle his normal weight. Antonio McKnight.
Yeah, they had him at like 165, right?
Yeah, he said he gained all the weight so he could wrestle up, because I think Peeler wanted him to wrestle up, and then he said he lost it all right after that or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, that was odd that he was in that weight class. That didn't seem to make sense.
Like 144. Yeah,
he still got third at 165.
Yeah.
You know, he was fighting. He was doing like kickboxing. He did a kickboxing fight at the.
Yeah, you the Foundry. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So he may have bulked up a little bit too, you know, for that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, wasn't he like 138 or 144 last year?
I think he wrestled Trevor, maybe. No, he was 138.
You mean Tony?
Tony. I thought he wrestled Tony. I can't remember. Tony got lucky if he was in his bracket, because he was probably on the other side.
Yeah.
Knight's a stud.
Yeah, he was in 165, and he got Kevin beat Kevin in the Consies.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty impressive win for McKnight wrestling up, frankly.
Yeah. I mean, wrestling
He's
Kevin.
tough. He's a tough kid. Yeah, I mean, I was shocked to see Kevin finish fourth at that weight. That is a deep weight right there. Because he's a good wrestler to be finishing fourth in that. Are you saying otherwise about Kevin?
No, I'm seeing these pictures that's in there right now. You don't want to see them.
Oh,
well, I mean, like you alluded to earlier, Justin. I mean, we're getting to a point in Beaufort County where we're getting some depth,
right?
You know, so that's, I think, just another example of that happening. Where we're getting enough, I won't call them studs, but enough experienced and solid wrestlers that you're not just walking in anymore, and just because you've got a year's experience under your belt, you're going to win something.
Right. Well, and like, I guess if people don't maybe totally get it, like, wrestling is not a sport where literally anyone can beat literally anyone. There are some matches where it's like, no, that guy can't beat that guy. Like, he couldn't. They could wrestle 1,000 times and he couldn't beat him. But in a lot of matchups, they could wrestle 1,000 times and nobody would win more than 600. You know, like when you're talking about less skilled kids or equally skilled kids, it is. I don't think people understand, like, the guys can wrestle again and again and again, and the outcome is never known. And so that's where we want to get, right? We want to get where we throw it in the Lowco and you're like, I have no idea if that guy's going to win it all or not place, because it's going to be so competitive. And that's how really high level tournaments are. You know, I mean, you can be just as good as a guy who wins the thing, but lose 2 matches by 1 point each and be out of it. And so that's where we're trying to get. And we're not there yet. With most of the weight classes, you pretty much knew who was going to win it by looking at the bracket before we even wrestled them. But in a few of those weights, we got some real depth, and we got some, and it's only going to get better because there's kids at the JV level that are fighting to get in that lineup. And
I think not even like middle school, like everybody's middle school feeder programs are growing so big now. Like, I went from like maybe 14 to 16 kids last year to 27 this year. I mean, I saw JP over there at Bluffton. He's got like 35 kids on his middle school team.
They got the most. They got a ton of kids.
Hilton has got a bunch too, middle school wise.
Yeah.
It's.
You looked up, it was Bluffton kids wrestling each other. Hilton had kids wrestling each other. They got a ton of kids, and you know, we gotta work to get more out. But
we got Hilton Head coming Wednesday to us. Their high school and middle school. We're gonna run it simultaneously. George, are you going on that by chance? Are you coming to ours?
I will not be there, but I do. I think I'm at. Where am I at that night? I might be there, y'all. I know I got something Wednesday night. I couldn't tell you.
Night,
Yeah.
Since we're running simultaneously.
If I can give,
you're here.
if I can
Yeah,
give,
it might be. That's maybe where I'm at. I know I'm somewhere on Wednesday, but dude, I'm Tuesday through Saturday this coming week, so I'm somewhere every night except tomorrow, and I'll be at Whale Branch doing a rules clinic for their kids. So
there you go. Good deal. Now I lost my train of thought. I had something I was going to say.
Keep cutting you off, man. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just that way. I knew if I didn't say it then I was going to lose it. But I did have something I was going to say if I could remember it.
Let's back up real quick.
What I was going to say.
Oh, go ahead.
So on the subject of numbers, I would suggest there's a very strong correlation between the numbers in your program and whether your coach works in the building or not. And if you're an AD,
exactly.
you can get that coach in the building. And I don't mean just make someone who's in the building the coach. That's not the answer. It needs to actually be a wrestling coach. But if you can get them a job in the building where they can be seeing kids every day and staying on top of them, going, hey, why didn't you come to wrestling practice? I thought you were going to do this, blah, 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 blah. It's just like sales. Sometimes you got to ask them 7 or 8 times and get them to say yes 7 or 8 times before you actually seal the deal.
Yeah.
So you got to stay on.
I'll tell them, I'll say, come to like 2 or 3 practices.
Right.
Tell me what you think. If you like it, stay. If you don't, fair enough. It's cool. Like, I'm not going to judge you on that. And then a lot of my middle schoolers that are out this year, I actually taught them that year when COVID was back in when I taught them 3rd grade, when I was teaching 3rd grade science back then. And they all know me. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go wrestle for Mr. Hagan.
That's it. It's a relationship building thing. And once they trust you and they want to be around you and want to be part of what you're doing, then like it's a lot easier to get them out there. So
like you said, it's sales, and you're selling yourself to them. You know, they got to buy into who you are and what you're selling as a coach and what your philosophy is. And if you're not selling yourself and you can't sell your program to them, it's not going to work very well.
Right. Then you got to count on your kids to do it, which, you know, our kids are trying, man. They're trying to recruit more guys. They really want more guys to come out and help us out. But it's hard. It's hard to get people to buy into it because it is not for the weak at all.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to throw something out. Thursday night, we had a try at Bluffton Middle. Mm-hmm. And Bridges Prep, your boys were there, and Bridges Prep won the duel against Bluffton Middle.
That's right.
And it was on fire. It was a hot night. Came down to heavyweight, and the kids were all in. The parents in the stands were all in, and we made some converts that night with that match.
Yeah,
because there are a lot of people that were having a lot of fun, and then they really got invested in what was going on, even though some of them didn't know what was going on. Right. But it was just a back and forth fun match. Yeah. And you know, I think that's the kind of stuff we need to help solidify and build wrestling in the Lowcountry. We've got to have those kind of matches.
Heck yeah. I mean, I still remember like high school matches I attended as a child. We're talking 40 years ago. Like I remember one particular one, you know, where it was like it swung on the heavyweight match and everybody was stomping on the bleachers. And it was the first time our school had ever beat that school, you know, like it was a huge, huge deal. And the energy in the gym for a wrestling match is unlike anything else when it's at its best. So I believe Dan says it was the most energy he's ever seen at a match. We talking about ever or just in the Lowcountry?
He said ever when I talk to him.
Because ever, that's impressive. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Like
Yeah,
he's-
no, it's hype, man. It's hype. It's
Well, we
it's,
had some big ones back in the day, like Battery Creek and Hilton Head. You
how
know,
about that Bluffton Hilton Head one where
Yeah.
it
Yep,
ended
that's
in
what
a
I was
tie.
thinking. Holman and Newton
Yeah.
were coaching, and it came down to a tie, and
Newton's design tie.
Yep. And they won it on that tiebreaker criteria, you know,
Yep.
so they knew what it was going to be. So
That place was packed to the rafters that night.
it was absolutely insane. So
It was.
I'm not a fan of the tiebreaker rules. But
Well,
the whole
this
forfeit thing is the underdog.
well, this one was a little more clear cut.
Yeah.
So Bluffton got hit with a penalty point.
unsportsmanlike, yeah.
That's like the
After,
first rule.
Yep, and that's the number one criteria. So
and so Newton, knowing this, after they got hit with it, and he realized that they could forfeit the next two weights and end up tied and win. And so Newton, being Newton, he trolled the Bluffton fans and forfeited the next two weights. So they were like, "Oh, it's tied, but they didn't realize that Hilton had already won.
And Newton had already done the math, and he knew that unsportsmanlike was going to be the tiebreaker criteria.
He knew
the last weight class was a kid who was a hothead for Hilton Head. They could have then got hit for the point, and maybe lost, a point, and it would have even gone to tiebreaker. Or he gets hit with the unsportsmanlike. Now it goes to another set of criteria, which Newton, being the analyst, had already looked at that, and they would have lost the duel on another criteria if they both had an unsportsmanlike. So he had already examined what was going on.
He's so next level with that kind of stuff, with the strategy and the
God, yeah, for sure,
unreal. But what else tonight, boys? You got anything else you want to talk about?
I'm gonna have to prepare for him on Wednesday.
You got them on Wednesday?
Yeah, we got them in their middle school coming. It's gonna be two match set out, simultaneous matches going on. It's gonna be a lot of sound going back and forth. We did pretty good against them last year. I think we lost to them by like 12 points or something, but it was back and forth.
They look tough. Their middle school looks tough again. The Fontana boys are hammers down low. The Batka kid, the kid that beat Mater, that was a savage match. Those two were just going at it.
Mater is gonna be good.
He's an animal, dude.
He was
that Batka kid. I couldn't
medal, man. He was like, I don't even want this.
Yeah, he's that type of kid. Yeah, he's go big or go home. If you ain't first, you last, right?
Exactly.
But I won't be surprised if he gets that kid at some point this year. Batka he has a little bit better hips right now, just like instinctively. He's a little bit better right there. But man, Steve's just getting better and better, and athletically, there's nobody quite like him. He's got some quick twitch stuff happening that is pretty rare.
I'm sure he'll see him at the Lowcountry qualifier. I don't even know who's it at this year. It's not Somerville, is it?
The region one's at Hilton Head on the 11th.
That's right.
Yeah. The following weekend is at Somerville, and then the following weekend is the Carolina Invitational. The boys is at Lexington. The girls is at Gilbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they had it all at one. They had Lexington.
Yeah, in the past they've had the JV middle school and girls all at Lexington. This year they're splitting the girls out to Gilbert High School.
Okay. Very good. Your other little dude that I love is Miles. My kid can't beat him, man. Like we're gonna get him one of these days, I hope. But
that man like eats, sleeps, wrestling.
I know. Well, and that's where we are, and we're not a year-round wrestler right now. We're baseball and wrestling, and baseball's kind of priority. But he really wants to get Miles. He really wants. That's been his bugaboo. We were excited to get a shot at him in the finals yesterday. But Miles and I felt like Truman wrestled a terrific match. I told him, I was like, man, you played, you wrestled the match you needed to wrestle to beat him. He he pulled out some stuff that to counter that, like I didn't know if he had it, and he does. Like
he's a great kid. He like shakes my hand after
I
practice.
love him.
Thank you, coach. And then he goes over to Reverence.
Yeah.
I got practice at Reverence afterwards.
Yeah, no, I love him, and he was one of our Lowcountry Wrestling Club OGs from back in the day. And I love that kid. He's super respectful and really quiet, but an absolute killer and technician. And that one spin behind he hit on Truman where he left his feet, it was
that was like a spider monkey.
Truman was like, holy crap, like that was nuts, because we were in good on him. I mean, I felt like we wrestled him really tough on our feet, and we still couldn't get a takedown. He rode the crap out of us, like just he's tough, man. We're going to keep coming. See what?
Well, I get him on high school next year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll be in high school next year too.
Next year we're gonna have be stacked at freaking lower weights. We've never been stacked at lower weights.
Right. You've always had big guys.
Always had big guys.
Yeah. Speaking of which, need a big guy coach at Hardyville. You saw George. We got three deep at 285, and they're pretty good. And for first year guys, and then we got a 215 and a 190, and we got a little old gear baby trying to coach them big old jokers.
Well,
so
I've met them before because we borrowed their mat for our tournament.
That's right.
Yes, and they were helping us get them off Dan's trailer that night. We went to the wrong school. We went to Ridgeland Hardyville, and Chase is like, "What? You're at the wrong school?" Because he wanted to get out of there, I think. But he was cool about it, and we got him in. But he didn't have any rollers. He needs some mat rollers. We had to let him borrow ours.
Yes, we definitely need some mat rollers. They did not come with our $1,000 mat from Indiana.
Yeah, I think you get them for $250 for a set of 2 off Cliff King website.
Well, we don't really plan on moving them around much more.
Oh yeah, well you got your own room. That's right. We got to stack ours up in that closet every night. It's annoying.
And we intend to have a competition mat by next season.
All right, cool.
So yeah,
you going Resolite or one of those?
Yeah, either that or Dolomer. One of them with the
Dolomer's a lot cheaper, but they only last 10 years, I think, compared to Resolite. Those things will last 20 years. I got a long conversation with I think it's Bud Hennenball, who's a big guy.
Bud Hennenball, yeah, Bud. He's the Resolite rep in the Southeast.
Yeah, he was telling me, he's like, man, we used to make them 30 years ago, and this chemicals that they've outlawed now. And he said that those mats would last 60 years with the chemicals they used to make them with, but they can't make them out of those chemicals anymore. But I'll tell you one thing: when we first got that mat, getting that cornstarch off.
What's wrong with all of us? Is that what's wrong with all of us? Those chemicals that were in those mats.
That's been dropped on our head so many times. But
kind of lead poisoning from all the rest of it.
Polyethylene, something another. Yeah. So that's tough.
So who your high school's got Hilton Head on Wednesday? What else you got this week? You going somewhere this weekend?
Middle school's got, I don't even know where they're going. They're going somewhere Thursday.
You're coming to our place Thursday.
Okay, that's where we're going.
You and
is it River Ridge?
Yeah. Bobby Smalls, I believe.
Okay. So
Bobby Smalls.
How do you pronounce Rob's last name? Is it Michelici?
Mikulik, I think.
Mitch. That's what I call Coach Rob and Coach Mitch.
Coach Mitch. I don't want to butcher his last name, man. He's a Jersey boy through and through. Let's talk about
what?
You're from Jersey, aren't you?
George, you'd have been proud of him this weekend. He is a terrific ref. He really is.
He on our Monday night meetings, he was showing up. He was listening, taking notes, set his notebook out. I make up a list of 15 questions each Monday, and we'd go over a chapter or chapter 2 each Monday night. And dude, he's taking notes. He was trying to get it right, make sure he was on point with it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll let Hagen speak to it too if he has anything to say. But I thought he looked like a veteran, he looked the part, and he did a really good job. I really appreciated a couple little things that I noticed that he did. One was he was always very clear with what the situation was. Like if if somebody was watching him and wondering who was in control or whatever, he had all the little gestures, all the little details.
Just like the body language when he was out there,
And the other thing that stood out to me is when we had kids who don't yet really know what they're doing, he'd hit them with the caution, and then he'd explain it to them. And if they messed it up again, he wouldn't hit them with the second caution. He'd correct them, and then we'd go on. And that's a little thing, but it's a little thing that I think goes so far with the new kids to the sport, like just not confusing, and they don't understand what's going on when they get hit with that first caution.
Well, and we told them that in training, and I said, look, guys, we're not all about cautions. You're allowed to verbally adjust the kid if he's in a bad position.
Yeah.
Get the hands in front of the line. If you're on bottom. Top guy, find the elbow, find the belly button. Yeah. You're not all about hitting a caution. I'm not going to hit him a caution the first time. Right. I'm probably not hitting them a second time. I'm trying to verbally adjust them to get it right. By the third time, if you haven't gotten it figured out, I'm going to hit you for a caution, and I'm still going to explain it to you. But, come on, dude. At some point, it's got to be coming through your radar there. So,
yeah. On the other side of the officiating coin, if you cannot get down on the mat, it's time to hang it up.
No near fall points. Couldn't count them.
If you can't get down on the mat, it's time to hang it up, man. I'm sorry.
I've already, and I'm not going to point out that particular official.
I didn't say any names or anything. I just made a general
the coach who sent me the video on that particular referee being unable to tie his own shoe, and he had to have a coach tie the shoe for him.
That man walked out with a whole box
run injury time
of Jersey Mike subs from our tournament. He was walking out. He had a whole stack, like the whole box, catering box. Walked out of our tournament with them. I was just like, I said y'all can have like whatever you want from there, but he's like, he took it to heart. Just walked out with that whole box of Jersey Mike subs. I was like, okay, man.
In 40 years of wrestling officiating, if you say take whatever you want, I'm taking it off.
Dude, I guess, right? So, I'm not a fan of that particular.
No one is.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
And I don't like to pick on my brothers in stripes, but there's a point you need to hang it up, and if you want to become a mentor, okay, try to help teach younger officials. But when you're telling a younger official that a full Nelson's okay, it's just a potentially dangerous move, you shouldn't be a mentor either. So
yeah, we had a couple of chats.
We had last year too. I remember we were looking at each other. We're like, what's going on right now? We were making up and stuff.
Never knows what the score is. Never knows what's going on.
Well, was it? It was Friday night. They tried to end the match on the second period. I was like,
he's done that before.
George was like, go check the paper, Hagen. And I had to go grab the bout sheet paper and point that the score, like they ended the score, and like no one remember what the score was because I wasn't writing it down, which I probably should have. But yeah, I was like, we're gonna do all 3 periods, right? This is wrestling, right? So,
well, you had a first year official who's in his first 2 weeks of officiating, actual mat officiating.
No, he did good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
it wasn't his fault.
But again, it was a learning moment for him. I was like, dude, you have to find a system where you can keep up with what period it is. For me, the second period, you flip the disc, you offer a choice, top, bottom, neutral, or defer. They defer and give it to the other guy. He makes his choice. Well, whoever deferred, I roll my wristband down halfway. And so the third period, I know whose choice it is.
Right.
After the third period choice, I roll it back up. Now I know we've made it through into the third period.
Right.
So I won't say I never, I rarely miss that third period choice. We were doing the D2 Nationals, where the hell we were at, Birmingham. And ref had a great tournament, officiated his butt off, should have had a final. He had a match. The third period went 4 minutes.
Oh.
They had injury time. They had blood time. Well, no blood time in college, but they had stoppage for blood.
Mhm.
And the people at the table missed it. The coaches on both corners missed it. And the referee missed it. They did 4 minutes of a third period.
Damn. How about the overtime?
Right. So he got vilified, and they didn't give him a final. And he really had a great tournament other than that. But that's a pretty big oopsie, you know?
It's a pretty good one. Pretty good one.
But they were gassed.
Feel bad for them men wrestling a 4-minute third period.
Yeah, during that match, I was like, did we chew?
Yeah.
I don't think we
And at Nationals, mind you, at Nationals. But yeah, for you, Hagen, yeah, that as a coach, that's your fallback. I mean, if you're not sure, go check at the table, which is kind of why I said go, go check, because they should have it on the sheet, right? So
I was like, I knew we didn't make a choice for like position. I was like, and then I went over there and I saw nothing written down in that box, and I was like, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I will say the other thing I'll say that jumped out at me, that's more this weekend than it did during the week, is man, the texts come fast. They come
those points, man, that 3-point takedown and now a 4-point near fall. It doesn't you get 2 sets of that, you're at 14. You know?
And it's 14-1, and then all you need is a takedown and it's done.
Yep.
I was that ref did tell me something about like 5 points when you're in a near fall or something. I don't know
if you're holding 4 as the referee and the defensive wrestler gets blood, calls for injury, or if he does something illegal, poke him in the eye or whatever, and you have to stop it, the 4 becomes a 5.
Okay.
Just like the 3 used to become a 4.
Right.
If you have to break the pin hold after a 5 count. Right.
Yeah, after you're holding whatever you're holding. So here's the sequence. If you're taking them, let me get my hand out here. You're taking them toward their back, and the kid calls out for injury time, you get an imminent 2 near fall. Okay. If you're holding 2, it becomes a 3. You're holding 3, it becomes a 4. You're holding 4, it becomes a 5. So if they call for injury time, or they're bleeding, or they do something illegal while they're on their back, and you have to stop it, the 4th point becomes a 5th point.
Okay.
So
biting, eye gouging.
Yeah, any of the things that the WWE says you shouldn't do, right? So
I'm pretty sure if you bite, you get disqualified.
Well, that would be a flagrant, and it would be over. Yeah. So
I have a kid who alleged to have been bitten the other night in the JV, but he didn't tell me till after, and I was like, dude, if he bites you, you tell the ref.
Speak up now. Yeah, speak up now.
Because you got to show those bite marks, because they'll go away. Like if you don't show them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he showed them to me. So,
once you leave the mat, though, now we can't do anything about it.
Right.
It has to be
to the ref next time, man.
Yep.
But yeah. Anything else we should cover, or shall we call it a night, boys? What's coming up this week?
I'm good for calling it a night. I need to get to bed. So,
what's happening this weekend? What we got going on?
I'm actually over in Georgia at the Effingham tournament on Friday, Saturday.
Oh, we're going to Red Fox.
Red Fox.
Bring middle and high school.
Yeah, I think you take girls too. Yeah, that one's middle school and girls and varsity.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hilton Head's going there, right?
I think Silver Fox is the same weekend too. We used to go to that one. They throw a great tournament. They got like projectors on the walls and stuff for all the bouts and stuff. But
nice.
We're going to Red Fox this year again.
Very cool. Looks like JP2 goes to Northwood, Beaufort, and Hardyville going to OW. Bridges and Hilton Head Prep at Hartsville, Bluffton at Effingham, and Battery Creek is going to the Cardinal Newman Holiday Classic.
I guess so.
That sound right?
That's a Skeezer school, right?
Yeah.
That's a Skeezer thing, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't typed in that Battery Creek's going to that, but that sounds
might be
weird.
throwing some middle schoolers out there. They better watch out.
Yeah, that's true. They will do that in Skeezer, won't they?
Sneaky.
Well, I mean, we got middle schoolers winning the JV brackets at Lowco. Like, it's kind of silly that middle schoolers can't wrestle varsity to me. But
At least let 8th graders wrestle.
more silly is that 6th graders can't play middle school sports. But
No.
don't give me
you want the history on that one?
sure.
Back in the day, in the 90s, the 6th graders were allowed to practice with the middle school team. They just couldn't be in any events. And there was a certain middle school coach at McCracken and others around the state, but they were allowing the 6th graders to participate in matches. So the high school league stepped in and said, no. And it wasn't just wrestling, but there were 5 or 6 middle schools in the state, including Bluffton, not Bluffton, it was McCracken Middle, that they were putting 6th graders into matches. And so they all got busted. And the high school league then stepped in and said, no more 6th graders getting to be involved at all.
No more 6th graders jumping on the bed.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to do a youth program if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know the deal. One bad apple ruins the bunch. And, well, it was only a handful of schools, but they jacked it up. And one of them was a Beaufort County school. So.
We're throwing we send all our guys over to Coach Mitch.
Yeah.
Bull Shark.
Bull Sharks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, boys. Well, good stuff tonight. Enjoyed grinding with you fellas. Thanks to Reverence Wrestling Club for making it possible with their sponsorship. Great spot in Bluffton. If you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level this season, get over to Reverence Wrestling Club. Thanks to all of our Lowco sports sponsors, as well as everyone who showed up to listen or watch. Thanks to Mike Newton and the guys over at Hilton Head for putting on a great tournament, and Brian Maynard had a big role in that as well. Yeoman's effort from a group effort to put on a great event. So thanks, fellas. Appreciated it. And we'll grind again real soon. Let you know what's going on with high school wrestling and other combat sports in the Lowco right here on the Lowco Grind. So until next time, for Coach Hagan and George Dixon, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Lowco.